And it was important that I be able to articulate what it was I wanted. And I know you were consistent in asking me to kind of describe, what is it you want to do with this space? And that, it was challenging, but it was good because it made me really think about, think more seriously about what I wanted this office to be as related to the mission that I see myself on. And so that is where the idea for the resource for teachers and resource for kids, that's where that came from. And then you pressed me a little bit more on that, and I began to think about what I wanted in each section. And, with the kids, for example, I wanted it to be a place where kids could come and, maybe work interactively, have a computer center that's connected to that part of the room, have a place where they could, get a hold of some literature that could encourage them. And of course, you filled in that blank by bringing in the young adult literature, which is very good. I've used it many times since it's been here. For kids who were in trouble, who I was spending some time with, and they went and looked and found some interesting, novels that kind of, captured their attention. But you made me reflect on that. So the first phase was really reflection on what it was I wanted, and I think it's important for anybody that you work with to really reflect on that, because as beautiful as the end result is, or the work in progress is, it's sort of hard to tell people what they need, until they articulate what it is what vision they have for themselves. And so it was important that you pressed me on that, because it made me think more about that. I had more of a blueprint already worked out for the teacher section, because I knew that we needed to offer them some instruction or some resources when it came to behavior management, because that's one of the biggest challenges that teachers face is managing the behavior of children in the classroom. But the resources that I have over there also get at some of the specific subject area, curriculum that teachers are engaged in. And so that was stage number one. The next phase was for me to really take some personal criticism, which was not always easy, but it was needed, because basically I had to reflect on how I was perceived by colleagues and by other people. The funny thing is, you often don't hear those conversations or those whispers, because you're the assistant principal. I mean, who's going to tell you to your face? But you were perceptive in knowing that that image that I was projecting was not the most professional. And I had to accept that, and had to put my pride aside. And then after that, I had to really think about managing the material that was in here, taking time to go through the material and make decisions about what needed to be kept, what needed to be put away, what I could truly use that would fit into the model or the atmosphere that I want to create. Is it useful? Can it really be a part of this room productively? And I am still in the process of going through a lot of things, but I'm so far further ahead from where I was at first. So that was the next step, that self, being honest with myself, and then making some serious decisions about how does this piece of paper or this article or this book, how does it fit into the vision of what I want to create. Being the administrator, being the bad guy, I could change that perception. They can know that I care about them, and I really do want them to be in here. I want to talk to them. I want to know what's going on, in their lives. I want to know what they want to do. I want to know what their interests are. Because though I'm not the teacher, I help to shape the perspective of teachers when it comes to their kids. And so I've got to know my kids before I can do that, and so having a space like this, it was a necessity. After that, we moved to I would call it the aesthetics stage. And that was when you were looking at the room, and it was kind of helpful because that was an area where I didn't have a real vision about what I wanted to say with this office. And I like how you brought in just a variety of different things that you thought might be, first of all, meaningful to both adults and children in a middle school who came into this office. And also just imagery that would be helpful in kind of changing the perception of the principal's office as a place of doom, a place of judgment. And so it was very helpful to get the variety, to see the variety of things that you would bring in. And as a result of me selecting those things, it really shaped a very positive atmosphere. Like I said, it became a place that was thematic and that was warm, and so that was the third stage. I would say that the next stage really had to do more with some of the nuts and bolts of working on some of the physical structure of the room. Like I have some things I need to do on some of the furniture. I'm still ordering or trying to get furniture that you all had suggested would fit nicely with the scheme, the visual scheme in the room. There's also another motivation, and that was trying to provide an opportunity for teachers to be able to come to my office and receive, some type of support instructionally or personally. I have a section over here that the objective is that it will be a place where teachers can come and they can get inspiration, they can get curricular suggestions, they can read books and articles to address some of the problems they may be having with their kids or with the instruction that they're responsible for teaching. I wanted it to be a resource. I wanted to be a resource lab for teachers in the corner of my office, just as much as I wanted to be a little resource for kids in the other part. So those were things that I had in my mind. I just didn't know how they were going to happen, but by you coming in and working with me, it provided a canvas for this to actually happen. In the stage when we were looking for things to put into the room that would fit the physical coordination, when we were looking for that, you were showing me how we could use things that already existed in the building to improve the office. It wasn't necessarily going out to buy everything. And so that was important because a lot of times you don't know what you really have till you stop and go look around. And we did that on a number of occasions. So that was another, that was the, I would call the scavenger hunt stage. The next stage for me, it was more about me, not in an arrogant way, but now that you had helped create this atmosphere, the next stage for me was to begin using it for the purposes intended, and I have done that. I've had in-services in this room with about 20 teachers. My principal has asked to use this office in the future for his meetings. I've had numerous members of the staff come into the room and just give accolades, to you. It was MCSS that basically designed it, and I couldn't take credit for it, and so I would always indicate, who had helped create this atmosphere. As I think about one of the unexpected responses, oftentimes when people come to my office, they have a kind of a joke and they say, "All right, Dr. Kaya's been in here, hasn't she, Mr. Gwyn?" And I'm like, "Yes, she has." That's their way of reminding me that the office needs to stay like it is. And so we have a good laugh, and it keeps me on my toes. That's it. That's